use the microphone, just, can you hear me in the back? Susie? Yeah, okay. Just because this room swallows sound, it's a presentation room. It's in the middle of a library, abutting group study rooms, and so we soundproofed it somewhat so that we wouldn't disturb people outside the room. But because of that, sound just gets swallowed. So as Natalie mentioned, today we're going to be talking for the first half of your class a little bit more about the CoRE project, the Seattle Communities and Research Project. And you're going to get the opportunity to talk in small groups about how you might handle it, what questions you have. We'll be able to clarify some of your questions. You're going to be going on a brief tour of Odegaard Library, not because you haven't been in Odegaard Library before and been toured through this facility many times, but just to try to get yourself into the mindset of an 18-year-old coming into a large and distributed library research system, and think about what sorts of things somebody who's fresh to UW might want to know or might not know about doing research in an academic setting. My name is Kathleen Collins. I am the coordinator of research help here in Odegaard Library. I'm also the sociology and children's literature subject librarian, so if any of you ever want to talk about picture books or YA books, I'm your person. My partners in crime are Mia Klaus, who's a student studying to be a librarian at the Information School, and Susie Cummins, right back there, who will be leading one of your tours, who is also a student at the Information School and the library's full-time program assistant. The people who cannot be here today who are on the team are Linda Way, who's our first-year experienced librarian and was integrally involved in coming up with the CoRE project, blame her, and Amanda Hornby, who's our coordinator of teaching and learning for the libraries. So these are all people who can be resources for you this quarter and next quarter as you deploy this. Oh, are you gonna? I can do that too. I mean, either. Because I'm holding two things and I'm a little clumsy, so let me know how it goes. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the background to the library research that FIG students do and why. Because the first thing students are going to ask you, or think about, even if they don't ask you in fall, is why are we doing this? And we do have a reason. And Mia's going to talk a little bit more about the details of the CoRE project in general, and then we're going to divide the group and do some activities. So why? Why are we asking you to do this? There has been a research component in the FIG classes of some sort or other, and every few years we change it up and try to decide what's working and what's not. Since 2005, so for 10 years now. And that was introduced at the express request of teaching faculty and teaching TAs who gave feedback to the first year programs people to say, you know, students are coming into our class, they don't know about the library, they don't know about the types of research we're expecting them to do. Is there something that you can do to help? And so FYP said, sure, let's give it a try. Acknowledging that there's responsibility on the faculty and TA's part as well, that you can't get students up and running in, you know, a 2-credit pass-fail, 1-quarter class at the beginning of their research experience, but we can acculturate them. We can sort of level the playing field so that some students come in and they have had amazing academic research experiences already. Some of your students may never have been asked to do the type of research they're expected to do from the start in class. Some of your students are coming in from other cultures, and libraries and research expectations are very different. For instance, in a lot of libraries in Europe and in Asia, they're closed stacks. You're not allowed to go in and put your hands on the books. And so it's a sea change. And often they're given the sources they're expected to know, and they don't have to find them themselves. So it's a way to level the playing field and sort of let your students practice some of the things that they're expected to do in a fairly low stakes environment. You're not going to affect their GPA if they practice and don't quite come up to snuff. The Office of Educational Assessment did a multi-year assessment of student experiences at the UW a few years ago. And what they reported was that students' first experiences with doing research and with the UW libraries are foundational to the rest of their experience at UW. And the interesting thing was they didn't realize at the first that it was foundational, so a lot of FIG students at the end of fall quarter when they do their surveys, you know, kind of say, I don't know about this particular assignment. And 2 years later, when the Office of Educational Assessment did an assessment with them, they said, you know, in retrospect, that was actually quite useful. I didn't realize it at the first. So telling them that, okay, you're going to be in the point of being parents, you know, I'm doing this for your own good and you're going to thank me later. But it's true that they've done the research that shows that this is good. And so the Seattle Communities and Research Project is designed to give your students this first experience and to try to mimic, in a light fashion, some of the work that they're expected to do in their other academic classes.